Okay, so I've got these ER32 and ER40 collet adapter for my closing lathe. They've got Morse taper 3 to go into the headstock or into the spindle. This is the first one I bought, and it's got some metric M12, M13, something like that. And I made a drawbar for it, and drawbar works great. But once I put it in and I started using it, obviously it's not going to tighten down that far with it, but I don't know if you can see that on camera or not, but it is not straight. In fact, yeah, you can see there there's the high spot. And the problem is that the threads for the drawbar are not cut into it straight. So when it pulls this into the spindle, it cocks it a little bit at an angle, and the whole thing is just worthless. So this is trash. This is probably scrap now, although I'm going to use it to as a model pattern to make the drawbars for these. This ER32 is from Shars and uses a 1/2 inch 13 drawbar. This one is very nice. And then I just bought this one, some no-name brand, but it's ER40, because occasionally I do need to use a couple of the larger ER collets. But this one naturally takes a drawbar that is 3/8 16. So we're going to make a couple drawbars. So because we're relying on the Morse taper 3, the distance, the length of this drawbar should be the same for all three of them. The only important features on this drawbar, besides the length from somewhere on the thread, and there's obviously some play here, is to this stop right here, and this pulls up tight against the back of the spindle. This is a Clausing Model 100, which I think it's got like a max, like 3/4 inch, something like that, through. This basically just barely fits through, and this little boss right there actually stops it. So that's about the only really important dimensions. I'm pretty happy with the drawbar design overall. I think I'm just going to do the same thing, just use a knurled handle like this. The handle on this one is aluminum with steel drawbar. So let me go dig through my stock and find a couple pieces of steel, and I think I'm just going to do the same thing again. It was easy enough to turn the aluminum. If I remember right, the reason I did it this way is because I screwed up and didn't leave enough material for a handle or something to grab onto. So I ended up cutting it a little shorter and then threading it, and this handle then is Loctited onto the drawbar. So yeah, so let me go look through my stock and see what I've got. Okay, so I've got that piece, the first one chucked up here, and I'm going to face down this end and then flip it around, drill for face off the other end, drill it for a center, pull it out, support it by the center, leaving just the a small amount left in the chuck, and then turn it down to the diameter. Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan, Stan. Okay, so I've faced off this end, and now I'm turning this diameter down to 1/2 inch for the threaded portion of the drawbar for the ER32 collet. .0498, that'll work. Alright, let's chamfer that end and tap and cut the thread with the die. Alright, this end we are going to drill and tap for 3/16 18, I think. Excuse me. 3/8 16. 3/16. I'll be holding it with a toothpick. And the drill for that is a 5/16. And it's already got a center hole, center spot. There. There. Alright, so I'm wrapping up the drawbar. I'm going to part it off here so I have enough material left for the other drawbar. And so now I'm going to excuse me, drill it for a center. And that give it a little bit of support. I'm going to want the center on the other part as well, I think, for when I'm knurling the handle, which is after this operation. Alrighty. Let's get the live center out. Let's see how that spins. Looks good. Alright, so I think we're all set up. I think I'm just going to try WD-40 for a cutting fluid lubricant this time. Seems to work pretty well on aluminum, I guess. So alright, did a pretty nice job though, but I could definitely see it flexing. Well, despite the flex, it seemed to make a pretty good cut. Alright, let's see how this goes. It's I didn't machine the surface, but I have a feeling it's going to be okay. I don't think it's going to matter too much with the knurl, but we'll see. Be a good experiment. Oh yeah, very nice. Yeah, quite nice. Alright. I really do like this knurling tool. The only thing I want to do when I'm working with steel, I want to replace this hand knob with a nut. It's worked really well on the aluminum here, but but steel, I need to crank it down a bit more and it gets to be really hard. Alright, I'm just going to face off this end. I tightened up the Gibbs screws on the carriage to lock it So I'm just going to loosen those a little bit. Yeah, I think that maybe is what I need to do too with the party when it was rocking a little bit. That'll work. Okay, looking at it, I think I have this tool set too high. Oh yeah, definitely. It's way off. Alright, I gotta adjust that. Alright, I think Alright, I think I'm going to consider this drawbar done. So, there's the finished product. Yeah, I'm very happy with that knurl. This one, this handle on this one is bigger than the other one, so it gives me more grip. And, yeah. Alright. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.